Remember when we tried to explain what a rave was? Well, you try explaining a rave. Yeah. Nobody can explain that. Yeah. And they and they're polite kids, so they kind of went, oh, okay. And we were just, I
didn't understand what it meant when it was going on.
No, me either. So we had trouble. We had a lot of trouble with that one.
Right.
Yeah.
And it felt like a big family reunion watching everyone come back together. So I can imagine it felt even better for you all. So Kurtwood, what was the best part about being back together, seeing everyone again, being back on the sets?
Working with Debra Jo. No, seriously, I'm serious. That's Debra Jo's my favorite acting partner, and so it was. We haven't worked. Well, we did do a pilot, an unsuccessful pilot.
Oh, we did.
That was not our fault. But no, I'm kidding. But we did an unsuccessful pilot together about a year and a half ago, something like that. And otherwise, we haven't worked together in 17 years. So it was really fun. Getting together with Debra Jo, and I just love the writers on the old show and on the new show, because the people on the new show have been able to just sort of like pick it up and carry it into the end zone, so that's been fun.
Definitely. And, with the show being, in the 90s, there are a lot of subtle but clear differences. And Debra Jo, I was curious, what was your favorite or least favorite thing that you got to leave behind in the 70s and your favorite thing you got to explore in the 90s decade?
Okay, so I will go directly to fashion. My favorite thing to leave behind are the bell bottoms of the 70s, because
fair enough.
Shorter, petite women cannot wear anything in the 70s. You can't, and no one looks good in lime green. I'm sorry to share that with some people, but no one looks good in lime green. And then in the 90s, we've got some shoulder pads going, which I always like. Stop. Shoulder pads are good. Those are also very good for petite women.
I like that picture of you in bell bottoms. Oh, that was cute.
Oh my God. Anyway, the fashion. I go right to the fashion. That's where it is.
Awesome. I love it. And, Kurtwood, obviously most of these kids probably don't remember much, if anything, from the 90s. So did you find yourself helping them kind of understand the references, or were they asking questions about some of the 90s stuff that was happening on set and in the story?
You mean the other members of the cast? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, the younger
group. Explaining 90s
Explaining things. 90s things to them? No.
Well, I have one. Yeah. Remember when we tried to explain what a rave was? Well, you try explaining a rave. Yeah. Nobody can explain that. Yeah. And they and they're polite kids, so they kind of went, oh, okay. And we were just, I
didn't understand what it meant when it was going on.
No, me either. So we had trouble. We had a lot of trouble with that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. And Debra Jo, I loved seeing Kitty do so many things this season. The tattoo moment was a standout for me. But what was the feeling like filming with this new group of kids, but each one of them had those counterparts there? Was it this surreal kind of almost deja vu?
No, not at all, because they are so unique and they are just so very different from the 70s show cast. They're their own thing, so actually it actually made it exciting, because it was new and it was different and it was a different energy, which helped make the difference between the 70s and the 90s. They're quite a great group to work with.
Definitely. Well, it really shone through on the screen. I loved the new episodes. Here's hoping for a season 2. That's my time today. It was such a pleasure speaking with you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Graham.
Thanks.
Nice talking to you.